Good afternoon. My name is Alexander Jordan, and I have prepared a tribute speech to my grandfather. My grandpa, Carl Jordan, was born August 17th, 1932. He'd spent his early years living through the worst part of the Great Depression in the middle of the most devastating parts in the United States, Oklahoma. He was born to a mother who left him soon after his birth in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. His grandfather brought Grandpa up in a similar way to what Grandpa did for me. He found his love later in life at the end of high school. Betty Jo Workman married Grandpa when she turned 17 and Grandpa was 19. Together, my grandparents had three children. My uncle was born in 1956, my aunt was born in 1958, and my mom was born in 1963. My grandpa did not earn a college degree until later when my mom had also earned hers, and after graduating high school, he immediately went into the workforce. Grandpa started one job when he married Grandma at the telecommunications office in Oshaleta, Oklahoma. As his house and his children grew, so did the number of jobs. At one point, he had four jobs to support his family. Later on, he got a job at Oklahoma State University. At OSU, Grandpa was in charge of the computations department for a time, and his duties entailed managing the computers, or women in the department undergoing computations for the university. After his time at OSU, he'd worked long enough to retire. Once he retired, his dynamic changed with my grandmother. Once again, embodying what a man is, stepped up and took care of his wife, which had taken care of her family for all of their life. Grandpa took care of Grandma until she died in 2014. Another admirable quality that he had was his undying love for Grandma. Grandpa soon decided that he wanted to move in with my family. My father had recently lost his job, and my family had needed Grandpa. I thought that because he was married for Grandma for so long, 64 years, and he missed her so much, that being in their house was too difficult. Moved in with us a few months after Grandmother had passed. I had a fear of the dark and had always taken to my grandparents. Because of my fear, my grandfather's loneliness, and lack of available space, we shared a room together. Our relationship blossomed, and he soon became my best friend. He lived a hard life and worked for everything he had. He loved his family and embodied what it meant to be a man. My grandfather was a role model, a father figure, and a mentor to many throughout his time. While living with us, and especially after he left, he was my biggest supporter and my biggest example of what a man should be. I got to share a room with him for 3 years. During that time, we played cards together, shared stories, and watched shows together like The Andy Griffith Show. At night, when I couldn't sleep, he would regale me in tales of his life and stories that he would make up. He would never brag and was always even keeled. With the absence of a good father figure in my life, he took that place. I had not realized until later, but all 3 years he was with us and my father had failed and keep a good occupation. My grandfather was the breadwinner. He paid for groceries and maintained house funding. What I had realized was the joy it brought him to help his family. Wanting to go to the movies with friends was not an issue, and the $20 bill came fast from his wallet with one expectation: bring home some of that movie theater popcorn. On October 27, 2017, my time with Grandpa was up. His death had taught me more about him and life than ever before. He was a great friend, and he was my best friend, honestly. He listened to all my words, extending help and wisdom where necessary, and always showing love. I loved him in a similar manner to how he loved Grandma, and missed him as much as she missed her. He was a great man, and his wisdom and kindness extended to more people than just his family. One such example was a woman who worked under him at OSU. Grandpa's coworkers would call her Bubbles because of how ditzy she could be. Bubbles would always come up to Grandpa because of lack of a good father and supporting family, but also because Grandpa was someone everybody could trust. One time she came up to him with excitement to tell him about this new man she was going to marry. This was confusing to Grandpa because she'd never mentioned a man in her life. She told Grandpa that she just met him, and this raised concern more because this was a little girl to Grandpa, and she didn't know much about life or even married life. He spent time trying to explain to her, how her responsibilities were going to change and how her role in life was going to be different, and that dynamic was going to be completely different as well. She wouldn't listen and quit her job because her husband said that she needed to be home to create their family. Not soon after she quit, Grandpa had seen her one day in the store and asked her how she was doing. Not surprisingly, she hated her life. It turned out that she didn't know much about the fellow she married, and soon he showed his true colors. Grandpa kept his composure and told her that if she ever needed a position or a place to stay, he was willing to extend that to her. She took advantage of that offer when she left her husband. Her Bubbles story and my story is a quick tribute to Grandpa's character and why I model my own life after him. He was a great man and deserves admiration. Thank you.